Hello and welcome to the legendary Porsche 959, one of the latest additions to Gran Turismo 7, and this car has a lot to live up to because this is one of the most iconic Porsches in history. But a car can be iconic in real life, but we're here today to see, is it any good in Gran Turismo 7? But before we even get behind the wheel of this vehicle, we need to remember, since it's an icon, it is appearing in the legendary dealership for a staggering price of 1,750,000 credits. And since it's in the legendary dealership, the car is not going to wait around for you. The minute it's gone, and who knows when it'll ever come back. So if you do get the Porsche, once you get behind the wheel of it, you'll begin to notice a few things. The car has a bit of odd handling that no other Porsche really has, and that's because this car is actually all-wheel drive. Now this is one of the features that made this one of the most technologically advanced cars out at that era, because this car had a twin turbocharged 2.8 liter flat six with sequential turbos to just reduce lag. Also, this car had adaptive suspension. This is something that you find on modern day sports cars, and this had it out before the 90s even began. This gave this car the status of being one of the best cars that money could buy. And the funny thing about it is this car wasn't even made with the purpose of being incredibly fast on the road. The 959 began life as a Group B rally car, but due to FIA regulations, they had to produce production vehicles. So 345 were made at a price of $225,000. Like Bill Gates and Jerry Seinfeld were on the list of those who ordered the Porsche 959. Oh yeah, and did I mention that the car could almost do 200 miles per hour? It was recorded at doing 197 miles per hour, over 300 kilometers per hour before the 90s in a road car. That for me is still insane. But this is just all real world knowledge. You don't actually care about this. You just want to know, is it any good in game? Well, when you try the vehicle standard, there is a lot of actually understeer because of the all-wheel drive system. The car tends to slide out quite a lot, and that adaptive suspension is confusing at first to understand, because it gives you the false hope of, okay, the suspension's firm and you know it's gonna be a solid ride through the corners, and then you're just greeted by the car producing body roll and it's just all over the place. But when you first get behind the wheel of it, you begin to understand how the vehicle drives. It does take some getting used to because of how the car accelerates, how it brakes, and just the fact of the understeer. As I mentioned, you can't get the vehicle to go around corners properly, but as I said, when you first hop in, the understeer might take you by surprise. But once you get used to it, you'll understand that, hey, it's actually quite a fun vehicle. Is it one of the best cars you're gonna drive? No, but it's still quite a blast. Now, if the original 443 brake horsepower was not enough for you, well, there are a lot of options for you to still upgrade this engine a lot further. After fully upgrading a vehicle, you will see you have now 778 brake horsepower, and you can actually reduce the weight to 1,131 kgs, which are some quite promising figures. And if you want to pimp your ride, well, you actually have some options for that. When I say some, I mean it's literally two options. You have a Type A splitter for the front end, and you have a rear wing option. That's about it. That's the only customization that you can do to this vehicle. Well, you can also change the wheels and also add a livery or just change the paint. So now that you're finished customizing your vehicle, it's time to head out back onto track. Now the number one thing that you need to purchase if you're gonna try this vehicle out has to be a torque vectoring differential. This is gonna allow you to split the power from the front to the rear. Now, with the way I drive, I like sending all the power to the rear, so currently I have it set up with 5% going to the front and 95% going to the rear wheels. This way it gives honestly a rear wheel drive feel coming from this Porsche, because I realized with the car being split 60-40, the car did have a lot of understeer. So just to avoid that, I send all the power to the rear wheels. and it just suits my driving style, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now, you might be able to handle it with power going to your front wheels, but personally, as I said, the way I drive, it's just not my cup of tea. But oh my word, when you fully upgrade this Porsche, it becomes a completely different beast. As you can see, from wheels up in the air, this car is incredibly fast. Now yes, I do have the downforce completely maxed out and the front end is still picking up. Now I know you're gonna comment, oh, add a ballast to the front, what's all right. But no, we're not adding that. We're just gonna let the car run in its purest form. So as you can see, it's taking corners a whole lot better compared to when it was stock. But I mean, if you're spending over 20,000 on suspension and tuning parts, you would hope so. So this car is just so rapid now compared to when it was standard. And the thing is, it wasn't a slow car when it was standard. Now, this car in its heyday was actually competition for the Ferrari F40. So what I thought would be a fun little exercise if we got a fully upgraded Ferrari F40 and put it against the fully upgraded Porsche 959, and that's exactly what we did. Now the Ferrari F40 is one of my favorite cars in the game. I say this about every car, but honestly, the Ferrari gives such a great driving experience where it's such a responsive vehicle. It is very powerful and it is so agile. It's a very darty vehicle. If you want to point it in that direction, the car is gonna go in that direction. And the way it just flows around the circuit is actually chef's kiss. That's how good this vehicle is. It's one of my favorite cars out of the legendary dealership. And the Ferrari just, it leaves me speechless. If you want to go watch the video on the Ferrari, there is going to be a card on the top right now, so you can go and check that out. But honestly, this Ferrari is one of the best. And when it comes to the lap time of the Ferrari, the car was able to complete a lap of Kyoto Driving Park in 1 minute and 29 seconds. I mean, it was almost 1:30, but it was 1:29. And this was just with the first lap out, so that's an incredibly fast time. Now in the Porsche, the fastest I was able to do in this vehicle was a 1:32, which is 2 seconds slower than the Ferrari F40, and this is with me doing 2 laps of the circuit. I still gave myself a second chance and it was still slower than the Ferrari F40. But so what if it's slower than the Ferrari F40? The Porsche 959 is still an incredible car with an incredible history. This car is such an iconic vehicle that alone should be reason enough for you to own it. And it's just a bonus that the car is also incredible in game. It is such a fun little vehicle, and honestly, if you have the money laying around, do pick it up. If you have to grind for it, well, that's just really up to you. So the Porsche 959, out of 10, I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I don't know, there was no real build up to it. It's an 8 out of 10 vehicle. It's fun, it's quirky, it's a bit on the pricier side, but hey, if you have the money, pick it up, because remember, you don't know when it's gonna come back. So with all this being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Or if you're looking for more GT7 content, watch the video on screen right now. Peace.